Welcome back to the Tradesman channel, everybody. Tonight I'm going to show you how we take this rough, long piece of curved black cherry, beautiful, absolutely beautiful slab. We're going to turn this into a short countertop for the project we're working on. So stay tuned, I'll catch you on the other side of it. Okay, so as you see in the opening of the video, we built ourselves a frame that this is going to sit down into. I only need this a little over 3 feet, I think right around 38 inches, I believe, if I want to maintain my 1-inch overhang on the sides. So we're going to actually cut this in half, and I'll tell you what, this slab is beautiful. There's no cupping in this thing. It's an absolutely beautiful slab. It's hard to get slabs like this when you're rough sawing. This has been sticker stacked for over 2 years now. We milled this a long time ago. We actually did it on the channel. I'll throw that video up there so you guys can see that. But this piece is 8 feet long. We're going to just chop it in half, and then we're going to surface this with a router. It's going to sit down inside this frame. We put bunks in this frame, and we have leveled this frame up. This is a rough cut workbench. It's not exactly perfectly level or any of that, but we need this to be, otherwise it's not going to work the way that we would like it to. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get you guys back in the time lapse. We're going to cut this thing down. We're going to put it down in the sled, and then we're going to use the router, and away we go.
I've heard a story, I've heard it said, I've come to believe that love is a bet. Sometimes you win and sometimes you lose, and sometimes it calls you right in the move. Come to my table, come to my bed, go easy my hunger, easy my head, bringing me fire, bringing me water, taking me high, taking me down. Give me your you're messy, give me your happy, give me your sad. I may be staying, I may be going, I may be left, I may fall apart. Come to my table, come to my bed, go easy my hunger, easy my head. Bringing me fire, bringing me water, taking me high, taking me down. Come to my bed, go easy my hunger, easy my head. Oh, bringing me fire, bringing me water, taking me high, taking me down. Taking me
Alright, so if I did my job right on this, and we took the time and put the due diligence in to get that router sled set up properly, this right here, we should be able to put a 4-foot level on this diagonally, and we shouldn't have any daylight. Of course, I obviously checked this out before running the camera, but I figure I better prove it before I say it's good. So that is perfect that way. And it is perfect that way. Router sled works really well for planing these down. It's not fast, it's definitely slow. And you're also going to see, and I think we can pick it up with the light, you see all these lines across here? That's what you get when you're using the router sled. You got to use a belt sander to get them off, but we have to go a different direction with this because what I'm thinking is by the time I'm leaving the wane on one side, which is, the wane is this live edge here. I'm leaving it on this side right here, and we're going to have some gouge work to do to make this look good. But I think even when I cut two of them, it's not going to come out exactly as wide as I want it, because I want a decent. If I didn't want the overhang I wanted on it, it would be no problem. But definitely going to have a little bit of an overhang. So what I want to do is I want to take a couple pieces of elm. I love putting bright wood against darker wood. Now, granted, this cherry, it's going to take it a few years to get to the natural darkness that it will end up getting to. But I want to take a couple of strips of elm, maybe laminate them in here the full length of it, because I like that look. Elm's a decently bright wood. This will darken up over time. I really, really like the looks of natural black cherry. It makes beautiful lumber. It is one of my favorite woods. It can be hard to work with. It does tend to want to move and things like that on you, so it's something you have to try to mitigate, do the best you can with it. If you dried it properly and you let it do all the moving it's going to do, a lot of times you can get the bowing, the twisting, and the warping out of it. A lot of it, like I said before in a previous video, a lot of it's how you mill this stuff, how you take the edges off the slabs. You really have to pay attention to how the tree grew. If you cut it down yourself, it's always good to know where did this thing grow, so you can kind of gauge what kind of internal stresses that you're going to be dealing with. A lot of times, so we've mentioned it before in the timber framing blog quite often, personally, my personal preference, if I was able to pick if I had my choice to cut trees anywhere I absolutely wanted to, I would go to the deepest part of the woods to find them because they're most sheltered from the wind and everything else. Wind stress does a lot to trees. They may look nice and straight where they're growing out in the middle of the open, but a lot of times just that twisting from the wind always blowing on the upper branches and whatnot, it can really put a lot of stresses in those things, and you don't really find them until after you mill them. You'll see some trees that grew out in the middle of a field all by themselves, or you'll start taking slabs off and they'll just banana off, or you're cutting them with a table saw and all of a sudden the one end just closes right up on you as you're relieving some of those stresses as you're cutting things away. So that is definitely something to always be mindful of when you're dealing with any kind of, basically when you're dealing with any kind of lumber that you milled yourself. Even stuff you're getting from, say, your lumber store, saw yard, whatever, it's going to have the same thing, and sometimes you just don't pick up on those stresses until you've already got everything milled down, you're cutting it, and then all of a sudden you spent hours on this slab and all of a sudden she just takes a dive on you. That does happen. So anyway, I think what we're going to do, I think I'm going to call tonight on this one, and tomorrow night I think when we come back we will get our elm milled down, we'll get the other piece of cherry milled down. I'm not going to use the router sled for that stuff because now that I'm doing thinner strips, our thickness planer will work just fine. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. We're going to keep going on it until it's done, and I'll see you on the next one.